Welcome to the 2024 radio show, live. You can tell we're live because I had to make 3 different videos or whatever. YouTube was something messed up. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It is my fault, but it's not my fault. I haven't done this in a while, and apparently there were a lot of updates to this, but here we are. We're live. There's a bunch of great songs. Thank you for tuning in. Whew. Here we are, the last day of 2024, and this is honestly the best way we could do it, by celebrating music, new music that came out this year, reflecting on all of our hard work in 2024. And before we get into the tunes here, if you want to be in the radio show again, there's always next year, but there will be another radio show in February for Black History Month. That will be a radio show with Black artists of color. That's one of my favorite radio shows because, oh my gosh, it is just so many different genres. It's so awesome. It's, I think, one of my favorites ever. Last year's. Now, on the docket for 2024, first of all, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. You can see in the bottom there, where am I mirrored? So that way, there is a subscriber goal. So there's one more day here for me to hit my subscriber goal of 500 for the year. That's pretty much my goal for right now, is growing this YouTube community, growing this channel. And my mission for 2025 is to really step into being a YouTuber and having it, really be my business. This podcast in particular, the goal for this podcast and the mission for this podcast is to connect artists. And when we connect with one another, we learn from one another. We can share our stories, we share our art, we share things going on in our local scene. And that way we can all really network and learn things from one another. So the goal for this podcast and for the YouTube is to create a safe space for artists where we can learn things about one another and to really help each other to stay creative. Like, that's my motto, staying creative. So this radio show that we have today, we have tunes that are from past podcast guests. We have tunes that might be future podcast guests, and we have tunes that people just hit me up and said, I came out with this new song, check it out, put it on the show, and it's on the show. So it's all one big community here. That's my main point. So the goal for this is to grow. So thank you for tuning in here, whether you're watching on Spotify later on or listening or whatever. My main point is, come check me out on YouTube, making content for you. Now, let's get into the show here. This first block is going to be punk tunes. This is going to be a punk block, and we're going to start it out with, I'm going to start this out selfishly. I'm going to start this out for everybody. This is a tune that I put out a couple weeks ago. This is my farewell.
I forgot it. Okay.
This is called Different Worlds. Check it out.
I need the music.
Where were you most of the time? Were I just falling out? I didn't think that was goodbye. What should I do now? I'll carry you with me. There's nothing to say. I won't make this easy. I got nothing to say. Things are different, they won't be the same. Running around, I got nowhere to stay. I don't know where to go, and I won't be coming back. I wish you were with me. Where are you now? I'm feeling so empty. I'm feeling so down. And I still remember the last thing you said. I'll carry it with me until I'm dead and gone.
sight. There's always shadows. There's always shadows. There's always shadows and they're in my way.
In My Way, Slugwater. That tune, so rad. Slugwater.bandcamp.com. I'm going to do my best to try to link everything in the podcast description. If you're watching this later on, podcast description. For now, YouTube folks, just go to my Bandcamp collection and search for this stuff. Everything you hear today is on Bandcamp. And that tune was Slugwater. Brand new band out of Brooklyn. Started coming out with stuff in late 2023, but that debut EP, all right, came out April 2024. And I did a punk news review for that too, actually. And speaking of punk news reviews, we got a few of them that I put on this radio show. And before that Slugwater song, we heard my favorite band, Pinhead Gunpowder. And Pinhead Gunpowder, I also wrote a punk news review for. That tune was called Green, and that to me is the dark horse. It's the 11th song on the new album Unt that came out in October a couple months ago. And I really love how it's like this slow melodic jam, and then it just goes and then just goes right into the vintage Pinhead thrashy punk stuff. That's just so great. If you're listening with headphones, you hear what the drums are doing. It's just so cool. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in live here. Yeah, and the first tune we heard was one of my tunes. It was called Different Worlds. I was so excited. I hit play before I could finish introducing it. But yeah, that is a punk tune. That's my last tune that I think I'll put out with as Knucklehead. I think I'm moving on to different things in 2025. So that song and these EPs that I put out, it's knuckleheadpunks.bandcamp.com. I don't think it's actually in my Bandcamp collection because I don't think I bought my own album on Bandcamp, so it might not be in my Bandcamp collection, which is hilarious. But knuckleheadpunks.bandcamp.com. Yeah, these two EPs that I released in 2024, it's my farewell to Knucklehead, the project, and to that name. I've rebranded myself since then, and I got a new band coming out, so I'm really excited for the future. And after that first tune, the second tune we heard was called Riding Shotgun by Dylan Disaster and the Revelry. This is a punk band from Austin, Texas, and I had to do a double take because I was like, it's so interesting because I don't know, like I was in Austin, Texas, but I didn't get a vibe of like what the music scene was there because it was just everything, everywhere, all at once, you know? So I was like, man, I wonder what the scene is. It's just a huge collage of stuff. And when I heard that tune, I was like, this could be from anywhere. And then when I looked at the liner notes, I saw a name that I recognized, and the name was Pete Steinkampf. Okay, and Pete is in the Bouncing Souls, and he worked on so much music out of Asbury Park, his studio. Shout out to Pete. I know he's done My Friends and Up for Nothing and All Torn Up and The Attack. So when I heard that song, I was like, even though this is Austin, Texas, which I've never actually heard too much bands that were from Austin, Texas, but I was like, this song just sounds so familiar immediately, and now I know why, because they were working with the great Pete, as we'll say, and that punk sound is just so perfect. And let's keep things rolling here. Let's get another block of music, because I got a few blocks this time. I got a lot of music to get through here, and this next block of tunes is going to be exclusively artists from Philadelphia, my hometown, and some of them are new. Actually, a lot of them are new artists, so it might not be stuff you've heard before. This first tune is a band I saw not too long ago at Philomoka. Shout out to Philomoka. Great scene. Philomoka, probably the premier underground live music venue that we have here. There's so many to choose from, but Philomoka is just in such a perfect spot and just has such a perfect vibe to it. And I saw this band there, and they completely blew me away. This band is called Local Honeymoon, and this tune is called Good Enough. Check it out.
Bar light and the depressants in my system. My friend said you sent me messages, but I think I must have missed them. Watch you leaving from the stoplight on the corner, up the staircase. My brain doesn't get much service till the morning after pancakes. And the texts all start arriving. I say sorry, I'm untired. Am I good enough for you? I'm waiting on the signals to come through. Does it matter if I even want you to? I just need to know I'm good enough for you. Spent enough time writing valentines for everyone in class, hitting the ice rink on some borrowed skates and falling on my ass. Catch my reflection in the ice below and feel like I look ready. You don't answer me immediately. I panic and start sweating. Jagged bullets and seeing daggers in your gaze where there aren't any. Am I good enough for you? I'm waiting on the signals to come through. Does it matter if I even want you to? I just need to know I'm good enough for you.
tailwind buzz. If you bring the dollhouse, I'll be your figurine. Do you think this could fix me? Can I play pretend with you for a while? All your lasers and your friends, yeah, they lead to better ends. Can I play pretend with you for a while? No anxiety or stress, yeah, you really are the best of me.
apathy. Yeah, that's just the way of things. It's a modern apathy, repossessing our dreams. It's a modern apathy. That's just the way of things. It's a modern apathy, repossessing our dreams. It's a modern apathy. Yeah, it's just the way of things. It's a modern apathy. It's repossessing our dreams. It's a modern apathy.
Oh man, the Lions of West Texas, who are actually from Philly. That tune was called Suburban Hell, and man, if you are digging that, you got to get the rest of the EP here, lionsofwesttexas.bandcamp.com. This EP is so cool, and I can't believe it's the debut EP. These guys must have been in other projects and got their chops up, because I refuse to believe that this is their first stint with music. If it is, that is unbelievable. But this, to me, this is a brand new band. That debut EP came out July 5th, and it reminds me of like Pennywise mixed with Off. It is dope. It reminds me Pennywise mixed with Off, mixed with like, just like that West Coast stuff. It's just, I feel like the sky's the limit for this band. And when you go to the Bandcamp, it's hilarious. It says, born from the ashes of the COVID-19 pandemic. Hey, man, COVID brought a lot of whack stuff, but it gave us the Lions of West Texas. So at least there's that. Shout out to that. Now, let's go all the way back to the first tune that we heard in that Philly block. These are all Philly artists, and the first one was called Good Enough by Local Honeymoon, another brand new band from South Philly. Came out this year, and they put out a bunch of singles, and that tune, though, like, even just the title, Good Enough, the years of therapy where I'm asking that question that is going on in the chorus of that song, it's just like, wow, this just hits the nail right on the head. And I'm still doing therapy on that, by the way. And I know a lot of us in the creative world are asking ourselves that question. When will we be good enough? When are we good enough? And we all need to take a page out of Kanye's book on that one, because he definitely knows that he was good enough from the very beginning. But yeah, lyrically, that tune, it just makes you want to level up. Just a great indie tune. Again, nail right on the head. And the next one that we heard right after that, Let's Go Plaid Together, Baby. That's by The Shoeless and the Other. And it's The Shoeless and the Other.bandcamp.com. And if you like that tune, you got to get the rest of the album, which is called Existential Afterthoughts for the After Party. What an album. And dude, Philly indie is in such a great place. I was saying this before, but the Midwest gets all the credit for indie and emo, but you really got to go to a basement in Philly, man. It is up there. It is up there. It's 100% in the conversation. I think it's the best, but I'm here witnessing it in front of me, so I guess I might have a little bit of a biased perspective on that. But yeah, I think it's in a great place. And right after that, we heard another brand new band by the name of Vice Trip. This is their debut single, a double single, called I Can't Imagine, and just a really groovy 80s vibe, and this stuff would make a great album. I'm really interested how that song or those singles could evolve into a bigger piece of music work. It's vicetrip.bandcamp.com, that tune. I Can't Imagine. This just came out a couple months ago, y'all. It's November 26th this came out. This is a brand new project, so we're really getting a first look here. They're only like a month old, babies. And then after that, we heard the tune Modern Apathy, which is the single from Kevin Crimson, another really new project coming out this year. And I think Kevin is doing all the instruments, if I'm not mistaken, which is really cool. Kevin is also the drummer of Green Jelly, and this is the new project that he started. Shout out to Kevin Crimson. We were hanging out in Philomoka on a different day. I keep saying this, Philomoka is just awesome. I think it's just one of the best places in Philly, and I've seen so many great bands there, met so many great people there. It seems like the scene is really operating out of Philomoka and basements and other really small venues. So yeah, Philly is in a great space. We're not done hearing Philly bands, by the way, but I'm saving it to the very end because I think it's such a great send-off, this tune. But let's move into the next block here. And this next block of artists are going to be exclusively artists that were past guests on the podcast. So if you haven't been keeping up with the podcasts, these are some highlights, and they were on the podcast in the past, and they came out with new music this year, and I was digging it, so I brought them back on to share this. This first tune we're gonna have, this goes all the way back to episode 130, and if you look at the title right now, we're up to 192. So this goes back really far. This band is one of my favorite bands, just outright. Forget that they were on the podcast. I was blessed to have them there and see them live in Philly a couple times. They're from Richmond, Virginia. Okay, this goes back to episode 130, and this band is called Asylum 213, and the new song is called October Beach House. Check it out.
Used to be so far away. Sit out just to fall like penguins. Red glass cocoon, car-sick living tomb. Webbed our feet cross sand and spray. History tales we've torn away. Chairs we call
Dude, are you kidding me? Revival. I can't believe I let them get away with not playing that on the show the first time around. That was the oddity. Revival. Another brand new band. Are they brand new? No, this is just new to Bandcamp. I made them get a Bandcamp. They had another album that had a completely different sound to it, but I'm almost out of breath after dealing with that one, man. What a freaking tune, am I right? That is like kind of the title track, but the EP is called Angela's Revival, all right? And it's kind of like there's really cool concept storyline type of situation here. It's the oddityband.bandcamp.com, and they're from all the way Riverside, California, and the Oddity, they were on episode 184. So if you want to go back in the podcast history, 184 is where we took a look at that EP. And I think I almost played the whole damn EP on there. I loved it so much. I really loved that. Oh my God. And every song is like a different flavor of alternative. Man, great stuff there. The first tune we heard, Asylum 213 from episode 130. I think episode 130, this was before I started doing like the video really seriously. And I think they were my first full band that I had. I think I had all 4 members there, if I remember correctly. It might have just been the 3 of them, but I think it was all 4. And yeah, that was just such a fun experience. I need to get them back on the show. Dylan, if you guys are watching this, Dexy, hit me up. We need a recap here. We need a reconvening. I just love that song just goes all over the place. October Beach House. That was the first tune we heard in this block of previous podcasts guests. I need Asylum back on here. I just love the complexity and when the guitars come in and the synth that we were all hearing, just amazing stuff. Whew. And then after that, we heard Penguin Wings, the lead first song off of Nihiloceros' latest release called Dark Ice Balloons, which came out earlier this year, May 2024. And we got a chance to talk to Mike, who did return on the show. He's been on the show twice now. He was on episode 182. Nihiloceros, just absolute juggernauts of the Brooklyn music scene. If you want to put a show together or get information on Brooklyn, I always point people in the direction of Nihiloceros. They have their ears to the ground. They know what's going on. And then after that, we heard Other Lives, okay? That is the title track from this brand new band called The Currents out of Toledo, Ohio. I don't know, man. These 4 songs, I mean, wow. Can you imagine hearing this stuff like on the radio, like in your car or whatever? Like this is the stuff that we should be hearing on K-Rock and all that stuff. But we're here instead, even better, building the community here. And yeah, The Currents, they were on episode 190 like the other day, a couple episodes ago. Brand new band, debut EP, Other Lives. That was the title track. Really love that EP. And then lastly, we ended it with Revival from the Oddity. Man, that was awesome. And this next block is we got pretty much one more block, and then our time here is up. And this last block, these are artists that have reached out to me that are coming from all over the place. We got Louisiana, we got St. Louis, we got Oklahoma. So these are just artists that hit me up and said, "Hey, I came out with a new song. Check it out. Put it on the show." And I checked it out, and I was like, "This is really rad." And we're going into a totally different genre here with this first one and these first 2 tunes. We're going into the pop world now. All right. And this first tune is a pop tune from a group called Hey Thanks from Louisiana, and this tune is called Forward. Check it out.
Feel some initiation forward to a time where we can still walk between the lines, following up on tailing right behind the truth. I wanna give it all to you if this is where we're standing apart, and this is how I'm standing apart from the rest, apart from the rest. Don't fall for the pieces. I'm picturing all of this apart from the once this space cornered with a feeling, looking for someone to face. Walk without a touch of someone else, tailing right behind the truth. I wanna give it all to you if this is where we're standing apart, and this is how I'm standing apart from the rest, apart from the rest. Don't fall for the pieces. I'm picturing all of this apart from the rest, apart from the rest. Don't fall for the pieces. I'm picturing all of this apart from the friendly face or strange screen, you depict how I am seen. Be aware that I'm semi-conscious, but obviously insufficient. So mess with me and I'll mess with you. This wasn't the last time you hadn't thought it through. I could tell you where to find a pile of cash. You wouldn't listen because I said that. Burn the bridges that sat in line on the side of what I knew was right. Fueled by our jet planes and screaming skydivers. There's never dead moments inside the dieharders. So mess with me and I'll mess with you. This wasn't the last time you hadn't thought it through. I could tell you where to find a pile of cash. You wouldn't listen because I said that.
so hard to tell if I'm alone. Where did my friends go? I don't even know. I was talking to them just yesterday or so. At least I thought it was a while ago. Cold hard truth hits you like a cold hard block. A bridge without beams is a bridge without support. Could be together, but I'd like if not to fall. Nothing to say except this is our last talk. So mess with me and I'll mess with you. This wasn't the last time you hadn't thought it through. I could tell you where to find a pile of cash. You wouldn't listen because I said that.
see it all the time in the corner of my eye. So I hope that you're ready. I hope that you're prepared. You know it's gonna come. Don't act like you're not scared. The fire's getting hotter. You know it's gonna burn. With children having children, you think that we would learn. But we just keep on going. We just keep running with the flow. If I turn off the water, would anybody know? I don't like the feeling of sunshine in my face. I just drink my gasoline, 'cause you know how much I love the taste. I'm always drinking diesel, I don't know what that means. None of this makes any sense, why don't you tell me? We blindly point our guns at anything that moves. And if the people die, we'll put them on the news. And then they'll send the plane, have it knocking at our door. We'll greet them with the bomb, but we'll call it a war. It's right outside my house for everyone to see. But I'll sit in my chair and watch it on TV. I'm flipping through the channels, the remote is in my hand. I'm smoking a cigar, 'cause it says the promised land. I don't like the feeling of sunshine in my face. I just drink my gasoline, 'cause you know how much I love the taste. I'm always drinking diesel, I don't know what that means. None of this makes any sense, why don't you tell me? The world is still the same, and I still hate my job. But the bills just keep on coming, it's like they're never gonna stop. So I hope that tonight, while I'm walking down the stairs, that my legs will just give out while nobody is there. And I hope my windshield fogs while my heater doesn't work. And I almost hit a pole while flipping off some jerk. And I hope my car breaks down while I'm 40 miles from home. So I could be with you, and we could be alone.
Wow. What a tune there. And that was Head On Collision, another brand new artist. And they're from Brooklyn. They only came out with 2 singles so far this year, at least according to Bandcamp. I'm not fact checking. I'm just going off of what I get at Bandcamp. Looks like a brand new band. Yeah, I feel like that song just takes me back in time. I feel like I'm listening to early Coheed stuff, but also just the way that that's mixed and recorded. I really feel like I'm with the band. Don't you guys feel like you're with the band listening to that? You know, like you're in someone's basement or something, and you can close your eyes and even just hear and feel that band with you. I feel with the band when I hear that. Really cool song, and the song is called Head On Collision, and you want to go to everythingisunfamiliar.bandcamp.com, of course. And the first tune we heard, really, we opened up with some pop stuff. The first tune was Hey Thanks from Louisiana with a really cool pop song, and that Bandcamp is Hey Thanks with 2 S's at the end, y'all. Hey Thanks.bandcamp.com. And yeah, that again, what I love about this block is just the lyrics, man. God, the lyrics are really kicking in this block. And after that song, first of all, these pop songs that we heard, Hey Thanks, and then 4 Degrees Colder, the mixing, oh my God, it's so clear, crisp, the drums, the harmonies, the vocals, just amazing work that y'all are doing here. And that song, by the way, 4 Degrees Colder, off the album Pretty Men in Suits, the song is called I'll Mess With You. And I want to say it's their debut release, brand new stuff, because they got nothing else on Bandcamp, so it looks like another brand new band. So again, you guys are really hearing brand new artists, and I'm really stoked for what's gonna happen next, because I mean, can you imagine if these songs are like your first song? I can't wrap my head around it. I've been doing this podcast for 10 years now, and this is just blowing my mind how good you guys are. It's really blowing my mind, because my first EP was, I don't even want to talk about it. I mean, it was mixed and recorded really well, but I didn't know how to sing. I didn't know how to write a song. I was just doing it just to do it. And yeah, you guys are doing the damn thing. 4 Degrees Colder from St. Louis. Shout out to St. Louis, most underrated music city. I said this before, but most underrated music city, music town, I think. Very underrated place in general. I really love the vibe of St. Louis. I don't really like Missouri, but St. Louis I really love. And if you go to 4degreescolder.bandcamp.com, you can get this debut release on vinyl, and it has an extra bonus song, which I love. I love giving bonus songs on the physical stuff. That's what I did early on too. I love that. Yeah, what a great tune. The sax that comes in, amazing. If that is a saxophone, I'm assuming it is. It sounds like a sax to me. Fucking incredible. All right, and then after that, we go from St. Louis all the way to Tulsa, Oklahoma for the band Free Association, okay? Wow. If you were watching this live with me here on YouTube, you saw I put my arm up where in the middle of the song, I just got flooded with goosebumps. Literally, during that song, my arm was covered in them. I was like, whew. What an atmosphere this song creates, and the vocals are amazing, the guitar solo is amazing, the panning, the reverb, and God, but seriously, what a guitar solo. Sheesh. What a great ending. And yeah, Tulsa, Oklahoma, you want to check out the rest of the release. Oh, by the way, the song was called Lock It Up. It was the first song on this release, which is called Nothing's Really Changed. How fitting. That came out July 13th, 2024. Now, and it's Free Association. The Bandcamp is freeassenmusic.bandcamp.com. Free Assen, I think, is also there. Instagram, if you want to check them out there, but don't think too hard about it. It's association, missing a few letters there. And of course, the last tune we heard, Head On Collision by Everything Is Unfamiliar, new group out of Brooklyn. And with that, before we close for the day, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in, subscribing, supporting, growing this community. When I started this podcast 10 years ago, it was just me and an iPod Touch. And I had headphones, and I was biking around New York City talking to myself, and I always had this idea, like, I really wish I could talk to other artists, do this stuff. But the technology that exists now wasn't as accessible as it was like 10 years ago. And I was also only like 20 years old or whatever, so I didn't know shit about nothing, as Eminem would say. I love that quote. But I just can't believe what this has grown into, and I'm so excited to do these radio shows. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice and hear it in my vibe, but this is one of my favorite. It's such an effort to curate all of this and to take your submissions and everything, but at the end of the day, like, this is so worth it, and it's so cool, and I love that we're bringing all of these people together from different parts of the country, sometimes different parts of the world, and we're all coming to this one spot here. So, and now that you're here, you all have something in common. So you're all a part of this classroom group project that is the music scene. And you guys can now go forth and network with one another. And that's the point of this podcast. That's the mission here is, so if you liked, the oddity, reach out to them. I heard you on the podcast. You're really rad. I'm coming to California. Let's play a show. Same thing with Nihiloceros or Asylum 213. If you're in Richmond, Virginia, Brooklyn, Tulsa, Oklahoma, feel free to track these people down because this is quality stuff here. So with that, I hope you continue to join me in 2025. I'm going to take YouTube much more seriously. It is going to be, I've quit my job. So YouTube and substitute teaching, that's going to be what I do in 2025. So this podcast is going to be a great big part of that. I plan on doing another podcast, but we can talk about that later. For now, let's sign off because I've been yapping here and being on here for almost 90 minutes. There is no better way to say goodbye to 2024 than with this song that we are about to play. Before we hear this song, this is a relatively new project that's gone through some rebranding. This band is called Push. Pusch. Don't get it twisted. And it's listentopush.bandcamp.com. All right. And this song that we're about to hear is the last song off of their debut EP. This is awesome. No great allow subs to have dyed hair. Yeah, you can look however you want. But this song is the best way to send us off into 2025 and celebrate 2024. Shout out to Brandon Ritchie. Shout out to Adam. Shout out to the Philly hardcore scene. I've always said, I'm a little on the fence with hardcore, but bands like Push bring me right back into it. All right. And I say all of that. Push is from Philly. Great question. That was the last thing I was about to mention. This is a Philly hardcore band, and for my money is one of the best ones. This is going to be a future podcast guest, and this song, properly titled, is Magnum Opus. Rip on, everybody. Stay fucking creative.